Well, the idea of the project is to do community engagement lessons that will be shared with teachers across the United States. From working with high school students, I think it's really interesting that they are more accepting to each other and are more interested in learning about each other and their own culture.
I think it's very important because in order to learn who you are and what you can provide for society, you need to learn like other people around you because you're not just the only person who lives here.
Well, we're doing 6 different engagement projects based around different art. And our first engagement project was based around a piece of artwork that symbolized the treaty between the United States, Canada, and Mexico. And so using that as a starting point, I had students design their own coat of arms for their family. And the interesting thing about that is most coat of arms are fake. And so they had to go in, talk to their families, find some research about their ethnic history, where they were from, and their own personal beliefs and ideals. And so they designed their personal coat of arms around that. The second project was based on a wall hanging done by a black artist. I wanted to instill ethnic pride for students into their own ethnicity.
So this was actually really fun to create. I was helped with my aunt while making this, so she also gave me ideas on what to do. So the painting is supposed to mean represent like my ethnic pride and like where I'm from or like what I am.
The feathers represent my Native American background. So do the leather and the beads. The dragon represents my father's side of my family coming from Wales, and then the ribbons represent my mother's side of my family coming from Germany.
The third project was kind of interesting because every ethnic group throughout history from the beginning of time has been persecuted, suffered from genocide and slavery. The kids were encouraged to really dig deep, find out some really important things, and they did a painting and drawings based on those different things that happened to that ethnic group, and also wrote a story about it, an artist statement.
I wanted to focus on a nationwide phenomenon that was common for African Americans in recent history, and that was lynchings. And I saw one statistic by the NAACP that mentioned from 1882 to 1968, like on average 55 black people were hanged each year and lynched.
It was during that time that the Scots had been overtaken by the British, and they had started to prosecute the Scottish for practicing different religious practices. And so they had decided to migrate to the US or Canada, and about 160,000 migrated to the US, and they thought it would be a better option for them, but they ended up being mistreated, given dirtbag jobs, home living.
The fourth art experience was to encourage students to celebrate themselves as ethnic artists. And so it was based on some life masks that an artist did. So it was quite a fun project because we took dental casting material and put it on their faces and made a life cast from it. And then we pressed clay into it to get a 3D model of their face. And the reason behind all this is because we are all one human race. And when we study how to draw a person, it doesn't matter what ethnic group you identify with, we are all drawn out the same. Our eyes are in the middle of our head, we have an oval face, and all the parts end up in exactly the same place. The only thing that makes us so unique and different is that there's minute changes in all those things. Nose a little bit longer, a little bit wider, lips thin, wide, those kinds of things.
When you're kind of just looking at the clay like sculptures, you can't really tell who's who.
unless like you can see your nose or you can see your eyebrows or like your certain face structures. And I think that's a really cool detail.
So our last project, we did a pop art assignment that was a study of Klaus Oldenburg, and he did gigantic pop art sculptures of common, ordinary place things. So we thought it'd be fun to take and do different ethnic recipes and do soft sculptures out of them. The way we're going to celebrate all these different things that we've done is to have ethnic food samples, the art that the students have done about their ethnicities and building relationships between each other, and also having some actors and musical groups come in of different ethnicity groups to perform. That is my greatest hope, that everyone understands that the human race is one race, Homo sapiens, which separates us from earlier humanoids such as Neanderthals. We have migrated across the face of the earth and adapted to changes in environment and climate to survive with small adaptations to the genetic codes for skin color, eye color, hair color, height, and weight. We have managed to survive and improve the human condition, yet we still engage in forms of war, genocide, and prejudice. So now it's time that the youth to teach us to embrace and accept the rich cultural and heritage of our fellow Earth inhabitants to ensure freedom, prosperity, and peaceful coexistence.